man. And it always goes back to Enoch, when the giants, when they got bored with men, they started to mate and breed with the animals, and it created these half-human, half-animal demonic hybrids that we see all throughout history. Similar to the pagan god Moloch that a lot of people today still sacrifice to. Up at the top, the cult center was devoted to the god Pan, the half-man, half-goat god of fright or panic. The site featured a cave grotto and carved niches for the statues of deities. Beginning in the 3rd century BC, worshippers cast sacrifices into the cave as offerings to Pan. Now, just like Jesus' transfiguration on the top of Mount Hermon showed his triumph over the evil that previously resided on that mountain, just 6 days prior, Jesus took his disciples to the location of this cave. He took them there, and they would have all known that this was commonly known to be the entrance to the underworld. It was commonly known to be a demonic location. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus says, "And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it." Jesus did this on purpose. He knew what this area was. He knew it was demonic. He stood in front of the opening to the underworld. He stood in front of the gates of hell and declared his triumph over evil. He and the disciples are literally standing at the place known in ancient times as the gates of Hades, or the underworld. Jesus is saying, in other words, that he will conquer the forces of darkness associated with the underworld, and that the power of the church will overcome them. In Paul's words, Christ disarmed the rulers and the authorities. He made a display of them in public, triumphing over them by it. I thought I would end with this. So if you go on Google Earth, you can see obviously Caesarea Philippi and the Temple of Pan, or the dancing goats, right next to each other, and there's Mount Hermon. So there's absolutely nothing on top of Mount Hermon except one little building. And you'll see it right there. Absolutely nothing else in this area but this one little observatory. And who owns this observatory? Well, for that, we look on the roof. There are fallen angels running our world, and they have their base on the top of Mount Hermon. Coincidence?